Right, I think the time has arrived to start the meeting. So, item 1, apologies for absence, please, Mr Town Clerk.
We have apologies for absence from Councillor Moody and Councillor B. Smith.
Right, we move on to now declarations of interest. So councillors are to declare any interest that they might have in the items that we are to discuss later, either now or as soon as they become aware of those items. And I'd ask the Town Clerk to say a few words here, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's really just to remind members that under the under the Council's current Code of Conduct, the position is clearly if you have what's called a disclosable pecuniary interest, you're required to declare the interest and leave the meeting. If you have an other interest, that's one which does not classify as a disclosable interest, then there is a test which is applied within your Code of Conduct. The principal test is that if the interest is such that a reasonable person with knowledge of all the relevant facts would consider your interest so significant that it is likely to prejudice your judgment of the public interest in the decision that you're being asked to reach, then you are also required to leave the room at that stage and not to participate in the meeting prior to leaving. So the situation in relation to both is to leave the room. The only situation where that does not arise is where you meet one of the criteria which are set out in paragraph 8.2, where there is a dispensation available, and in that situation you would declare the dispensation that you're relying upon in order to stay within the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We move on to item 3 now, which are the minutes of the council meeting. To confirm the minutes of the meeting of Tavistock Town Council held on Tuesday the 10th of September. They have previously been circulated. Is it your wish that I sign them as a true record? Thank you. Item B, matters arising. There is one matter which I'm going to take under part 2 later on, which has been alerted to me. Any other matters arising? No. Item 4, public representations and questions. We have none this time. Items requiring a decision. 5, general finance, schedule of payments to consider and endorse the monthly accounts as at the 31st of August. The schedule was available on the website. I hope everybody managed to find it. Apart from this, anybody have any questions?
No, I've only had questions from one member, Madam Mayor. I hope they've been addressed satisfactorily.
Thank you. Move on to B then, budget monitoring report, to consider and endorse the phased budget monitoring report as at the 31st of August. Any questions apart from mine? No. No. Councillor Parker.
It's just a question of where to find the budget for last year. Of course, on the website it only goes up to 2017-18. I just having difficulty locating it.
If you're looking for last year's budget, it would probably be the November meeting of the Budget and Policy Committee, which would be the detailed submission, and then the actual approval of the budget would have been, I would anticipate, the December meeting of Budget and Policy in Council.
Thank you. So any other questions on Budget Monitoring Report? Move on to item 6, Budget and Policy Committee. Councillor Williamson, please.
I rise to present the minutes of the Budget and Policy Committee held here on Tuesday the 15th of October. I propose to read out, as is required, the recommendations, which start at paragraph 198, page 3. It was recommended that, in response to the statement and the report to this committee on 15th of October 2019, that Council's projected activities may cause our staffing resource to be overstretched or harmed. The following should be applied immediately. The budget setting process should, as a matter of principle, identify to members the need to consider additional resources and all projected costs of that additional resource required to meet all council agreed objectives within the budget, and such matters be reviewed further in the spring. That's spring 2020, I think. Item 2 of that recommendation was the settlement of the obligation as identified at para A above be endorsed if as necessary from reserves. And Para 3, a draft budget be prepared taking into account A, the known factors as outlined within the report, and B, identifying insofar as it can unclear or unfunded factors in order that the Council might review their funding, viability and prioritisation. Moving on.
Shall we take that recommendation? Thank you. Seconded. Anybody wish to discuss the recommendation? Those in favour, please show. Thank you, that's carried.
Moving on to paragraph 200 relating to fair trade town signage, it was recommended that Tavistock Town Council indicate its support for...
Oh, sorry.
I've missed one.
There's a recommendation at 199, please, Councillor Williamson. Top of the page.
Oh, yes.
Page 4.
Yes, I didn't sideline that, so I missed it. Going back to recommendation at paragraph 199, recommended that the Council via £10,000 from the current grounds maintenance budget and £10,000 from the reserve for the resurfacing of the Guildhall car park public realm to the property maintenance budget in order to meet the shortfall.
Right, thank you. We have got a recommendation, so do we have a proposal for that? Yeah, seconded. Any open to debate? Anybody wish to? Right, put that to the vote then. Those in favour, please show. Thank you.
Back to paragraph 200, fair trade town signage. It was recommended that Tavistock Town Council indicate its support for signage for promoting Tavistock as a fair trade town, and a letter of support be written accordingly. There is a note to that. Do you want me to read the note?
No, just the recommendation. Thank you. Thank you. So we have a recommendation. We're happy with that? Those in favour, please show. Right, thank you. That's carried.
And the rest of these minutes are in part 2.
Thank you. Move on now to item 7, Development Management and Licensing Committee, to receive and consider the minutes of the meeting of the DMNL Committee held on firstly the 24th of September. Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I rise to present the minutes of the meeting of the Development Management and Licensing Committee of the 24th of September. I won't go through each paragraph, but if I draw your attention to 179 paragraph B, new planning applications, these have previously been circulated, and there is a recommendation that the views of the Town Council as listed in Appendix B be passed to the local planning authority for consideration.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that, please? Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Now move on to the DMNL Committee, 14th of October, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first one I'd wish to draw your attention to is minute 189, Dartmoor National Park Authority. This council has been invited to comment on the Dartmoor local plan that is emergent at the moment and out for consultation. The committee considered this, aided greatly by a detailed commentary prepared by a member of the committee, Councillor Graham Parker, and I will commend Councillor Parker, as it was a most helpful document.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Chairman.
Arising from that, the committee made the following recommendation. It was recommended that Tavistock Town Council thank the National Park Authority for the opportunity to comment on the consultation draft local plan review. That we express Tavistock Town Council's support for the policies contained in the plan, in particular those policies to which special attention had been drawn, namely overriding strategy, sustainable development, spatial strategy, local centres, rural settlements, villages and hamlets, open countryside, major development, promoting good design and sustainable development, housing requirements, affordable and local housing, sustainable transport, business and employment, renewable energy development and settlement boundaries and site allocations. Item B, the National Park proposes introducing annual parking passes at 3 of its car parks on the moor, and in consideration of that, your committee recommended that Tavistock Town Council support the introduction of annual parking passes in the areas specified, and that details of the consultation be shared on the Town Council's social media forum.
Thank you. So we've got a recommendation there. Can we have a seconder, please? Right, those in favour, please show. Thank you, it's passed. Yeah.
Moving on to...
Sorry, Councillor Parker, I beg your pardon.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I wasn't quick enough to get in on debate. Can I just draw... I know not everybody will have had a chance to read either the local plan or the report, but the report highlights several policies that are absolutely model policies for the Environmental and Sustainable Working Group and for the Neighbourhood Planning Group if it ever gets formed.
Okay,
so it's well worth reading just for those two areas.
Thank you very much. Councillor Ward, please.
Moving to paragraph 192, Madam Mayor, if there is a recommendation there, it was recommended that minutes from previous Development, Management and Licensing Committee meetings were not required to be duplicated with an agenda if previously circulated. At present, there is duplication of the minutes, which is a waste of the Assistant to the Town Clerk's time and also a waste of paper and ink, and that can be avoided in the way specified in the recommendation.
Right, thank you. So we have a recommendation. Seconded, please. Thank you. Those in favour, please show. Thank you.
And finally, Madam Mayor, 193B, your committee considered a number of planning applications as listed at Appendix B, and it is recommended that the views of the Town Council as listed in Appendix B be passed to the local planning authority for consideration.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for those, please? Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Mrs Ewing.
In light of what we're saying about receiving the agendas again, do we need all the planning decisions and all these other bits to actually...
That's the whole thing, because they come as a pack.
Right.
I think you'll recall that at previous committee, sometimes whoever was presenting the minutes didn't bring the papers with them if they'd been circulated, so I was asked to send them every time, but it wasn't felt that this was
necessary. No. But I was also just saying if maybe this bit, because it goes on the website anyway, stay on there and then we don't need them at all.
I wouldn't be sending that, that's the whole thing, I wouldn't be sending.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Where did we get? Did we vote to those through? Yeah. Okay, sorry, we now move on to item 8, service reports. To receive for information the following service reports. 1, General Manager, enclosed. Thank you for this report, General Manager. It's very nicely set out. Councillor Mann.
I just wanted to say thank you for 2 bits, which is that we've already started taking actions on sustainability. You'll note in that report that new bins have been installed with plastic recycling as well as card recycling outside of the Penya Market. And I also wanted to say thank you for the Goose Fair letter that was sent to all of the vendors. I know the Goose Fair Committee was involved with that, with the working group. And I just think that working towards having sustainable events is something that we should celebrate, and I'm glad that we're on that road. So thank you to the General Manager.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On page 3, 10th of October, the visit of the World Heritage Site Partnership Board, I've had several emails from members of the board specifically thanking Wayne and his colleagues for the care they took in taking us around the project.
Thank you. No, that was quite an important meeting, wasn't it? Good. Any other questions, comments for this report? I'd like to thank Wayne for that. Move on now to the Works Department. Can I just mention here tremendous success at the South West in Bloom results. I went down, a team of us went down to Newquay, not last Friday but the Friday before, and some pretty outstanding results here which are listed. There will be a presentation, I'll be doing a presentation to those groups in the Town Hall on the 29th of October, but it was very good, and the person who was announcing all the results was a huge supporter of Tavistock. He absolutely loves it here. I think they come here for their meetings of the South West at the Bedford, and every time our name got called out, he was telling everybody what a great place it was to visit. So it was very interesting, but a long day. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, Councillor Smith?
Yes, it also lists the Devon Historic Building Trust Award presentation in that report, and
I was going to do that later.
we were quite successful in that as well.
Yes, I was going to mention that under Mayor's, as there's never anything to say under Mayor's reports, I was going to mention that.
I don't mind you repeating.
I will do, thank you. I've got some very good photographs of you, Councillor Smith. I don't know if the Town Clerk's got them on. Yeah, thank you. Right, I'm not sure where we are now. Town Hall and Butchers Hall, report enclosed. I think it's a church bazaar, not a...
Yes.
Yeah. It's a bit of a typo there. Halfway down page 2. Any comments? All looks very positive.
I missed that one.
Bizarre. Okay, so can we note that? Thank you very much. And the Pannier Market report, September, October 2019. It's good to see the reports that we're getting on TripAdvisor, very positive. People need to be going to the Pannier Market and to Tavistock to do their Christmas shopping. Don't go anywhere else. Do your Christmas shopping in Tavistock. It's my message to everybody. Yeah. And it can be done. I've done it several times. In fact, one year I did all my Christmas shopping in the Pannier Market, so it can happen. Yeah. Okay, any questions, comments? Note that one. Okay. Right, finance and other matters. To receive for information the following: report of the Assistant to the Town Clerk. Thank you for this, Jan. Any comments, questions? Councillor Mrs Ewing?
I'd just like to say, because it's quite difficult for you to do so, not having spoken to you, but thank you, Madam Mayor, for a wonderful civic service.
Thank you.
It was great to see so many different organisations and people there. The church was packed to the rafters almost. And it was a really, really good service and very good in the Town Hall afterwards. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, it was very
And to the staff for organising the event with you as well.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Note that one, thank you. Town Hall and Markets Consultative Group, notes of the meeting held on the 17th of September, which are enclosed. I think we can note that. Councillor Mrs Ewing?
Can I just ask what a NABMA is? Is it a National Association of British Markets or something? Or?
Authorities, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Squire, you chair this group, don't you?
Yes, the minutes are before the council. Suffice to say, I share it as a facilitator for the convenience of the traders and stallholders, and my understanding is that it went satisfactorily, and I rely upon any officers who may have contributed information to provide consider it.
Thank you. The point I would like to point out there, do have the Pannier Market Christmas opening times on bottom of page 3.
Yep.
Which we should note. Very busy and informative group that, so it's well worth going. Councillor Williamson?
If I may, Madam Mayor, thank you. I read these minutes with interest as I'm the nominee director on the bid, and I saw that the bid manager was present. I know the next meeting is the 10th of December. I'd very much like to be permitted to attend that meeting not as a participant, but purely as a member of the audience, or whatever it's called, because it enlightened me about the degree of coordination that's now in place between the bid and the markets, and that's very important in my view.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Everybody's welcome to attend these meetings, so that's good news. C, which is the Whitchurch Down Consultative Group, notes of the meeting held on the 2nd of October. There's one omission here, which was the election of chairman at the start of the meeting, and that was Councillor Ellis was elected as chair. I think those are notes of a consultative group, so we can note them unless anybody has any questions. Okay, thank you. West Devon Borough Council report. Councillor Adam Bridgewater has provided a report. Would it have been helpful if perhaps put something about the changes to the recycling on here?
Don't worry, I'm doing the next one.
Excellent.
I keep remembering.
Good.
I'll probably still need Jan to remind me.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on this report? No? Okay, noted. Thank you. The next item is the Southern Links Committee. These notes have already been presented to Council on the 30th of July, spotted by the two people who go to Southern Links. So thank you, Councillor and Mrs Parker.
I kept reading it, seeing your name and lack of mine, and I was thinking I was there and looked at the date.
No. Next thing is the Tavistock Museum Charitable Trust minutes of the annual meeting held on the 18th of April. This is just for information.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry, I did send a Devon County Council report last week.
Yeah, I think it was too late for the agenda.
So it's been circulated separately. So if I was advised to send it the Monday before, which I did. A week on Monday, like 8 days before.
Right, okay, perhaps you can have that discussion outside the meeting. Yeah.
We've all received it.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Sellis. We have received yours, but it's not tabled for this evening. Okay. Now move on to the notes from Tavistock Matters, held on the 4th of September. They've got my name wrong, and apologies, but... Sorry, Councillor Mann.
Madam Mayor, I was really interested by the Tavistock Matters, and unfortunately I was not able to come along to that meeting. But one of the things that's listed in there was a community speedwatch project. And there were notes in another place which said that perhaps Councillor Parker was somebody that we could talk to about that. And I just wanted to ask what the project was and how you could get involved, because I've had a couple of people actually contact me specifically around speeds. They happen to be in the southeast. I think I forwarded it to all of the councillors who are southeast ward members, but I'd love to have an update on that.
Right, well it says here that PCSO Kevin Williams is the link for anybody who's for the Tavistock-based Speedwatch projects. So I would suggest your first thing would be to email him and find out where things are at the moment, Councillor Mann.
I think there was someplace else, it's not obviously in the Tavistock Matters notes, but there was someplace else that said for the Town Council that Councillor Parker was the contact, so I was just going to say if she was comfortable speaking.
Councillor Mrs Parker, please.
Yes, Councillor Steve Hipsey brought this matter up at Tavistock Matters, and there was some enthusiasm for setting up a group. However, Steve didn't want to commit any time himself. So I took on the role of just finding out what the circumstance... I know a bit about Speedwatch because of a family contact who does it. And we need to find out more about it before we can actually set up a group. But I've been told by Councillor Steve Hipsey that there is another councillor on the Borough Council who may be interested in assisting on this and may want to take on the coordination. It is a considerable amount of work taking on the coordination of Speedwatch, which I don't feel I can do, but if this other councillor was interested, then I'm sure with Ursula's contacts and other contacts we could build an appropriate group.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else have any questions? Councillor Mr Parker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the first item, there are two actions requiring updates. Have any updates on the extent, or what, in other words, when the Plymouth Road roadworks are going to be finished? It's causing quite a lot of distress around town, and the details of the parking area. Have members been provided with any updates since then?
Well, I think there was some mention of it in Councillor and Mrs Sellis's report, wasn't there?
Oh, maybe that should be directed to Councillor Mrs Sellis. The updates for the completion date for the Plymouth Road works and the parking areas.
I don't know the completion dates, but I don't know.
Okay,
Right.
I think this is something that we can perhaps make some inquiries on and find out. I think John Doswell has left Devon County Council now, hasn't he? So, right, thank you very much. Councillor Mrs Young.
Can I just say, it is having quite an effect on people down there at the moment. The waste from West, people's recycling and black bins haven't been collected from anywhere at Westbridge Cottages this week. No rubbish has been picked up at all. It is causing, a lot of difficulty and awkwardness for people who are living there at the moment, and it's not going down very favourably, the delays and everything else. I know it is an essential piece of work. I understand that. I've nearly been hit on that zebra crossing several times through walking a 97-year-old lady across it, and you have to stand there with your arms out so nobody comes and runs you over. It is and has been a very dangerous crossing, so I totally support the work that is being done. What I don't support is the manner and the absolute chaos it has caused in Tavistock. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Squire.
I should raise a matter for information that the buses are refusing to stop at the bus stops on that road. This is producing a community safety issue that the elderly are being forced to walk a much further distance from the bus stop that the stagecoach will stop at. So I'm not sure as to the rationale for that. The bus stops are still there, the bus still passes, but it's refusing to stop, and I've experienced this myself on the bus journey. So it is a point of matter for community safety, which we hope to have raised.
Thank you very much, Councillor Squire. So hopefully we'll get some feedback, please, from Councillor Sellis on what's happening then and when it's likely to be completed. That would be useful. Right, move on now to item 8, which is project update to receive any additional oral update in connection with 1, Tavistock Townscape Heritage Initiative Scheme.
Yeah, just really to advise members, as you'll be aware, that the scheme proper comes to a conclusion on 31st of December this year. There is an extension in relation to the public realm aspects associated with the Guildhall car park, but because the scheme is drawing towards a close, what we will do is we are in the process of arranging a final audit and a final accountancy review of the scheme as we approach close down.
And the Guildhall Gateway Centre project?
Nothing new to update in relation to that, but as the project is now getting underway, I anticipate we'll be bringing regular update reports to you at each meeting. As you know, the builders are now on site.
Thank you very much. Move on to I, to receive any update from or questions to council representatives serving on other outside bodies in connection with the work of those bodies. Councillor Williamson.
If I may, I attended the Oak Rail Forum on the 17th of October. That's a group that is dedicated to reinstating regular services between Oakhampton Station and Exeter Rail way station. I can't remember which one, I think it goes to Exeter anyway. And there is an aspiration within that to develop a new parkway station at Oakhampton. Where is this group going? There is an interim chair, and it's really waiting now for franchises and leases on the railway to be determined, because they expire quite soon, and the outcome of that will be the new franchisee and the new leaseholder for the line may be expected to deliver those regular rail services. There is, of course, other matters affecting ministries of government which are slowing progress, but it is really broadly irrelevant, because until the leases and the franchise is sorted out, they can't move forward. And if I may add on a second report, it is the Tavistock bids annual general meeting tomorrow night, and the Mayor and I are attending that. I'm attending as the Director, the Mayor is attending.
That's the Mayor. Thank you. Councillor Parker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've two meetings to report on. One is the World Heritage Sites Partnership Board. I'm a non-voting member on that, but I represent DALC, and through DALC, this council. The main thing to report from that is that we had a not altogether favourable report from UNESCO at the end of last year, the State of Conservation report, and it came mighty close to declaring the site as at risk. We're past that now, but a small group has been set up that involves myself, Deborah Bowden, and the planning officer from WHP, who will be putting together a seminar to try to educate UNESCO in the vagaries of the British planning system, which is where the problem seems to be the British planning system, not anything that the Cornwall and West Devon Mining Heritage World Partnership Board have done.
Right.
So if you hear any rumours, it's in hand, and it was nothing that we did wrong. The second one is that further to you, members appointed me to be their representative at DALC. I find myself now on the DALC County Committee. The main thing to report there is that we're restructuring at DALC into an incorporated body, hopefully making communications and finance a lot more streamlined and effective. We're discussing that at the AGM, the DALC AGM tomorrow. I'll be there pretty well all day, and I'll report back on that to you at the next council meeting.
Thank you.
The other thing is I must have been out of the room at the time, but I find myself on DALC's climate change group.
Right.
I've spoken with Councillor Crawford and Councillor Parker. I'm helping to lead a workshop tomorrow at the DALC AGM, and they've provided me with ammunition to feed into that debate. Again, I'll make sure that when the DALC minutes come out now, they get reported regularly to Council.
Thank you very much indeed. Any other reports to make? Can I just say two things? First of all, on the 2nd of November, Saturday the 2nd of November, between the times of 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock, there'll be an open day at Kingdom House. This is to celebrate the external works that have happened and the works that have happened to the ground floor as well. So be an opportunity for people to pop along to Kingdom House and have a look around. I will be going at some stage, but I've got an appointment in the morning, so I'll be going after that, I think. The details haven't been finalised quite yet. The other thing, part of the Southern Links, there's an opportunity on the 14th, I think it is, of November for members of the Link Committee to attend a Highways Matter meeting at West Devon Borough Council to discuss special highways issues. So if anybody's got any highway issues, I need to get them on the agenda by the 1st of November. So a couple of things that I've thought of is there's a few drains that need clearing, and I just wonder what like to know the details of the how often the drains are cleared, because a lot of them are full up to the top with grit, so when we get any water it's not going to drain anything away. And also, having travelled over to Bovey Tracy across the moor on Saturday night, number of roads that have a huge amount of water on at the moment, if that water freezes, those roads are going to be pretty slippery. So those are two items that I want to put forward. If anybody's got any other items, can they let me have them within the next within the next week, please, and I will try and get them on the agenda for that. So that's all. Anything else on updates? No? Okay. Any feedback from members following their attendance at any training sessions, please? think it's been fairly quiet as far as training is concerned. I know that Councillor Mrs Parker and I are going to some training next week up in Cheriton Bishop. Right, thank you. Item 10, to receive such communications or reports as may be submitted by the Town Mayor. First of all, thank you to Councillor Mrs Ewing for mentioning the civic service. I was going to thank members who attended that and to the staff who made it a really good celebration evening. It seemed to go on for quite a long time in the Town Hall afterwards, so that was quite nice, and it was lovely to see so many people there, so thank you for that. I know you've had a letter about Remembrance Sunday, which is on the 10th of November. So I hope as many people are able to attend. We meet here and then parade over to the War Memorial. And then the final thing is I had the great pleasure last Thursday evening to go to the Devon Historic Buildings Trust presentation of annual awards, and I am absolutely thrilled. There were 4 award categories and 3 entries of buildings in Tavistock, all of which have been undertaken through the Tavistock Townscape Heritage Initiative. The interior restoration of the Butchers' Hall interior took first place in the category for the regeneration of a historic building or group. The Pannier Market was runner-up in the category restoration of a historic building or structure, and One Church Lane runner-up for repairs of a historic building or structure. So from one market town in Tavistock, we ended up with 3 nominations, 3 entries into the finalist, and we got 1 award. So that is the award. It's quite a lovely award, which I'm hoping is going to go on the outside of the wall of Butchers' Hall, as it's so we can pass it around if people would like to see it. It's quite a nice little thing. So it was a great evening. Everybody was really quite excited, and there were lots of certificates given out, weren't they? The Lord Lieutenant of Devon, David Fursdon, was there, and it wasn't a lengthy thing, so that was quite good as well. So. Yeah, I think that's all the things I had to say. Item 11, urgent matters brought forward at the discretion of the Town Mayor. I have none. Item 12, Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960. Move. Thank you. First and second. Thank you. We can move into part 2. Thank you very much, Councillor Mrs.